Okay, day 50 of 365 days of meditation. Um, Meditated in the evening. Again, it was late evening. I actually, not meditating in the morning, I actually almost forgot to meditate today. And then in the evening, at the end of the day, I remembered I hadn't. So I sat down and I meditated for just over an hour. It was actually quite nice. Uh, it's quiet out. It's late in the evening. There's no distractions. Put on some relaxing music, and I got right into it. My body didn't wasn't feeling too restless. Was a little bit at one point, but for the most part, I was pretty easy to stay still. Um, I definitely had some um, high points or intense emotional points within the meditation, which I find I usually do to some extent. Today was a bit more. I was meditating on acceptance, and also meditating a lot on gratitude, things I was grateful for. And at one point, my mind kind of wandered onto my parents and some points in my life, early in my life, and just how grateful I am for everything they've done for me throughout my life, and just for the people they are, and that I get to have them in my life, and also uh, acknowledging that they won't always be there. Um, and I know that's not necessarily a pleasant thing to think about, but at the same time, it really makes you appreciate um, everything, or makes me appreciate everything they've done for me, and makes me, really want to savor however much time we have left. You know, and there's no guarantees in life, so whether I pass first or they do, I can't predict that. If the circle of life goes according to plan, then they would, and you know, just sort of acknowledging at some point that when that happens, I'm definitely really really going to miss them. Um, so yeah, that definitely brought up a ton of emotion in meditation, and it's not that I had this planned to go there. It just that's where my mind ended up, and I was meditating on gratitude, and I ended up there, and then that turned into sort of an acceptance practice, and also just sort of gratitude combined with acceptance in some ways. That whole experience, it was powerful, interesting, lots of tears, lots of smiles, which is for me a good meditation. Lots of tears and lots of smiles. And so yeah, after that, or even a bit later in the meditation, I was really kind of thinking of it, and after the meditation as well, about kind of accepting versus sort of striving for change, and realize that acceptance is kind of a foundation. So you can accept how things are going in the present moment, what you're thinking, what other people are doing, what's going on around you, the emotional state you're in. So I can accept all those things in the present moment, and by doing so, it sort of sets a foundation of where I'm at. And that doesn't mean I don't want to change things necessarily, or don't want things to be different, but in sort of setting that foundation of where I'm at, grounding myself in the present moment where I'm at, the way things are, and being okay with it, it sort of provides a more stable platform to start to behave differently, believe differently, perceive differently, act differently, think differently in every future present moment that unfolds, to sort of make that decision on solid grounding, um, sort of by accepting where I'm at. And I don't know, there's this interesting sort of dichotomy that unfolds, like accepting where you are, while at the same time each present moment provides the opportunity for change. So it's just interesting. I'm sort of playing with that idea of how do you accept exactly where you are and exactly what's going on, but in each present moment, but at the same time tweaking what you're doing slightly, I guess, to create a different outcome for future present moments, potentially. And there's sort of this interesting interplay between acceptance and almost striving for change. And then I'm kind of wondering, if there's some efforting required for change to occur in each and every moment, some conscious efforting, what is the optimal level, and when does that striving become unhealthy or detrimental to your own mental health and well-being? So sort of what is the optimal, are you supposed to just sit there and accept everything as it is and never want for change or work for change? I don't think so. That sort of is counter to human evolution as a whole. We do evolve as beings in the course of our lives, and as a result we sort of evolve as a species across generations. You can look back through history and see that humans lived, thought, behaved quite differently to some extent than they do now. So yeah, that's sort of what I'm wrestling with, I guess, today, is that idea of like, what is the optimal, I guess, well, it's almost like, what is the optimal rate of evolution within my own lifetime? Is there such a thing as too much striving? Because in some ways there is efforting required, conscious efforting in the moment required, even to just set yourself on a different path in life. It could be, anything from, getting a divorce, or changing a job, or buying a house, or any decision you make in your life. There's some initial discomfort and conscious efforting to required, and then some potential efforting after the fact once the decision's made, to, if you sort of change the patterns within your life, to live differently. And yeah, I'm trying to just sort of figure out what is optimal. I mean, I don't want to stagnate, and I don't want to make things unnecessarily stressful for myself. So is it okay to temporarily create that discomfort and stress if it's going to lead you onto a pathway that creates greater ease? And then the question would be, how do I even know if that pathway is going to lead to greater ease? So yeah, I guess that's what I'm wrestling with. And maybe the answer is to just keep jumping into that unknown. But then the question would be, to what extent do you jump into the unknown? Because you don't want to just constantly be flipping your life upside down just to be in a state of sort of, that not knowing what's going to happen next at all. Or maybe you don't even need to flip your life upside down to not know what's going to happen next at all, because we really don't know what's going to happen next anyway. Yeah, anyway, I don't know. Maybe this is what happens when you get to day 49 of daily meditation. Your brain starts to chew itself up, regurgitate itself, and then chew itself back up again. I really don't know, but anyway, this is where I'm at. This was today's meditation. This was the subsequent thoughts that occurred afterwards. I did write about it. I was looking through what I wrote, and it seems somewhat sort of incoherent and scrambled, and who knows, maybe I'll sit down tomorrow or wake up tomorrow and have some clarity on some of the stuff, or maybe these are questions that no human being has the answer to. If you do have the answers to them, write it in the comments. Anyway, that's it for today. In closing, if you're struggling at all with your mental health, sit your ass down and meditate. I'm not just joking. But if you are struggling with your mental health, talk to somebody. I'm sitting here in front of the camera and I'm talking to you, whoever you might be. So I guess it's sort of therapeutic for me in doing so. But in the past, when I was struggling with my mental health, after years of sort of struggling and suffering in silence needlessly, one of the the first thing I did essentially that set me on the path to a better life was telling somebody about what I was doing. That allowed me to first understand what I was doing because I had no context for it. That it was a thing, in my case, obsessive compulsive disorder, and the anxiety and depression that sort of spun out of that. But yeah, it was the first step towards getting an understanding of what I was doing, just telling somebody the behavior and the thoughts I was having, and then they were able to sort of put a label to it, which allowed me to go look into that and learn a bit more and realize, most importantly, that I wasn't the only one that was doing this. It was a thing that other people experienced, which I had no idea up until that point. And that was a very powerful realization. So yeah, if you can get a hold of a mental health professional, I've said it before, mental health professionals are just like any other professional in any other profession. They're not all created equal, but you won't find a good one until you look. And, even just to get it off your chest and not be carrying the burden of your own suffering yourself, just, you could talk to a family member or a friend or a colleague or, maybe a teacher or coach or something along those lines. So just to get it out there to start the process of becoming well. Talking to somebody can be a very, very, very powerful first step. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I hope you're doing well, and take care of yourself.